Hey, Katie. Oh my God. Are we really doing this?
We are. Welcome to Higher Downloads, where two moms, entrepreneurs, and spiritual seekers are getting real about doing our best to live life in alignment.
Yeah, and by getting real, we mean the raw, unfiltered voice memo version of ourselves.
And you know what we're really obsessed with lately: higher
hmm
downloads.
You know that moment when clarity arrives seemingly from nowhere? That's it. That's the higher download from your highest self.
Exactly, because we know everyone has the ability to access their own higher downloads. So nothing is off limits here. Everything in the wheel of life, from career, spirituality, motherhood, relationships.
Yep, everything. And really through the lens of higher consciousness and joy. And we have to share our higher downloads too, right? So grab your coffee
Or your crystals, or whatever you need to have fun with us.
and get ready to tune in to your own wisdom channel because receiving higher downloads means you can live your life in HD.
Higher Downloads starts now. Welcome back to Higher Downloads,
Welcome back.
part two. We are picking up where we left off, right? We ended that last recording and literally looked at each other and said, we have 10 other things we haven't talked about.
Like, wait, Katie, you didn't mention. And you're like, wait, no, but you didn't mention.
And they just kept getting juicier and juicier. That was like, okay, so we're back. We are part two. Was not enough. We did not go deep enough. And we're here to go deeper, deeper in the
Into our treasure hunt.
spiritual treasure hunt. I love it. The spiritual, yes, like Easter egg hunt, treasure hunt. Deeper in, like, I think of it too as like, I feel like we started at the highest, easiest level, and like, how much deeper can you go? And there's a lot.
Yeah, because some of the things that we were talking about in the last episode were our like entry points, like we've mentioned. And then once you, oh, okay, that works, you can kind of go a little bit deeper and deeper. And so these are a little deeper into the vortex.
Yeah, a little sometimes feels weirder, but only weird because maybe you haven't heard of it at first.
Yep, my son actually says that weird is just what you haven't tried yet.
Ah, I love that. So wise. So
Right? This is
true.
why elementary teachers should run the world.
If only we had been told, I had been told that when I was in elementary school.
Right? Is that not the most simple definition?
It really is. It's not dangerous. It's not bad. It's just something you haven't tried yet.
You haven't tried it yet. Yeah.
Aw. Yeah, I remember when when our algorithms were catching up with our spiritual interest, and the most, what felt very weird, very bizarre, very, oh my God, would come up and we'd send it, be like, have you tried this yet?
Yes. Yes. Like, wait, what are they doing? Will I ever be this weird?
Oh,
Yes, actually.
yes, indeed.
Because
I
then we
love that.
tried it.
Okay, I just remembered another one that I remember seeing, people talking in light language that we did not, that is not on the list. So, anyway, I have not tried light language. Have you?
I have not, but the reason why. Okay, so nerd out moment. I did research in my PhD program with a faculty member about should your mentor be the same ethnicity as you? And so we talked about cross-racial, cross-ethnicity mentorships. Can they actually understand your lived experience if they're from a different cultural background? And what we found is that yes, and some of the most powerful mentorship programs or bonds are with people who have proximate experience. So, like, even though I am a white woman, I did grow up poor. And so I can relate to someone despite their color if they had like like something with poverty in their background. And so the reason I promise I'm making a point. The reason why I know light language has to be something real is because in like my Christian upbringing, I saw people speak in tongues. And
Yeah.
that to them didn't seem weird.
Mm, yeah,
You see what I'm saying? So
I do.
I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
you've
then
come to light language through that, which, there's an underlying, like, how different are they really? Are they different at all?
are they different at all? Like, is it just like a channeling of something that you caught the spirit? That's what they would
Yeah.
say in the Christian world. Like, so yeah, I don't, that's what I mean. Like, by so weird is either you haven't tried it or you're like, oh, I could see that because of a lived experience I've had.
Yeah. And maybe we should decide, things like light language, like some I know I had never heard of it until I saw it on Instagram. So I don't think it's worth us going down and trying to over explain everything. So maybe we'll just briefly hit on things and
Yeah. And
people
let
can Google
people,
it.
yeah, and we were having people slide into our DMs asking about practices or things we haven't covered yet. So we'll cover some more today, but please keep them coming. We want to know. Maybe we'll do a part three eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so yes, this is all about personal development, spiritual development. There's such a wide breadth of things that you can do, you can practice, you can try. And I think what we said was it's really just like what resonates for you at that time, right? It's picking and choosing, going to the buffet, the spiritual buffet. What am I feeling today? I
Yeah,
love that analogy.
I do too, because I have some people in my orbit who are like, wow, I see how much work you've done. I see how much joy, and like I see a very different you in this beautiful, like, where do I start? And there's not, like, I keep thinking of this like Candyland game board. It's not like a sequential, like, try this and try this, try this. It really matters of like, well, what are you trying to work on and what feels right for you? Are you feeling disembodied? So do you need to get back into your body? Are you worried about a pattern? Are you trying to connect with the divine? Like, where do you want to start? It's the buffet.
It is the buffet, and I just downloaded. Like, I remember when my type A achiever person was saying, I want to try them all. I want to, like, ooh, I just heard about this. I want to try it. I'm going to check it off my list. I want to like experience all the things and I'm going to find all the things. Like, I remember having that sensation. And at this point, I am like, I don't think there is an end. Like, even up until this last week, another thing dropped in that I had never heard of. And I think it is unlimited. And I've kind of let go of that now. But I do remember having that temptation of like, I'm now discovering all these different practices, ceremonies, experiences, and just wanting to be like, I just want to try them all. And it was almost to check them off the box, not really, just calling and listening to what I needed. If that, yeah.
Yeah, you like wanted to fill your bingo card, and like then that would make you feel like you achieved spirituality. It's like when I'm like, I want to win therapy.
Yes.
That recovering, that like recovering people pleaser or achiever or
Yeah.
perfectionist, those things, yeah, they're a
Yeah,
thing.
absolutely. Okay, so let's get into it. What's the first one that comes to mind for you?
Well, one that we put on our list when we finished and we both have done was emotion code.
Mm-hmm. And thankfully, that came through one of our mutual friends. I had never heard of it, but one of our mutual friends studied it and got trained in it and was practicing it. So that was really cool. When the first time when she was looking for people to practice on, I really did not understand the concept behind it of the someone else tapping into your quantum field and tapping into there's like a list of feelings or and then what it's tied to in your history and helping you release them, and there's like a magnet involved like of releasing the energy that's tied to the emotions. Fascinating. But the very first time I was like, sure, I trust you. Come. She came to my house, we sat in my
Mm.
daughter's bedroom and we were like doing the emotion code in there, and I'm like, what are we doing? It was cool though.
And because you did it, then I reached out. I think she was still wanting to get some reps in. And so I did it. I went to her house and it was it was one of the first ones where someone, or at least I was aware of, I want to say that I was aware of someone tapping into my quantum fields. And I'm like, oh, okay. And she asked permission, and I'm like, oh, that's a thing. Like, okay. And what really struck me was the story she shared. And I'll probably, botch it. But basically, the concept is that trapped emotions get stored in our body. And we know there's great books out there. The body keeps the score. There's a lot around that and trauma informed practices. So we know that emotion gets stored in the body. But with emotion code, it's like it gets stored as energetic, like balls or blocks. So you basically are testing where those emotions are stuck. And what was really cool for her to share was that there are stories and studies about people who have done heart transplants. Like we understand and believe that the brain carries memories, but there's stories and documentation, real documentation that people who've received heart transplants have memories that the person who's deceased and who donated that organ, they have their memories. And so like
Oh,
that
wow.
was mind blowing to me about how other organs, like we really widely accept that our brain has those memories, but we hadn't really tapped into where the other organs had. And it was like, whoa, how those memories get stored as energy and trapped traumatic emotions, especially we can still carry. So that was a cool, eye-opening. It was weird. Now it's like my everyday foundational
It's like,
acceptance.
of course, it is stuck in your body. Yes. And you have to release it or it will stay there, right? Or you have to process it, move it. Yeah, that is beautiful. I don't remember that story coming up in my experience with emotion code, but I've
Mm,
absolutely seen the documentaries where they talk about that, where you get the heart transplant and then all of a sudden the family, like the person has a change in appetite. Now they love hot dogs. They didn't love hot dogs before. Like it's very interesting. And it, if you think about your chakra system, like your heart is such a vital, important, central part of, all your emotions, your love, your heart. Like there's so much to it. So that, yeah, the heart transplant thing is wild, but it's a great example because it is. It's the same. It's the stored emotions, and our bodies really could go on and on about this. Okay.
I know. Yeah. Well, keep moving down the buffet.
Okay, buffet. Next buffet. Let's how about muscle testing?
So similar concept about the idea that there's something that your body can tell you. We both have been muscle tested before.
And we try and practice. I try and practice it myself sometimes. I wouldn't say I actually the last couple of days I've been trying it again like, "Oh yeah, muscle testing. I can use that if I need to test what I want to do." And it's really all it in my mind when I think about what muscle testing is, it's your body is strong when it's in harmony or in alignment. And whenever your subconscious is saying a full yes, your body is strong. There's several different ways to muscle test. But then if you're making a choice or a question or thinking about something that's out of harmony, out of alignment, out of your highest and best good, then there's a weakness to it. So, and I have been using that and I really like that concept. But to take it a step further, I think the muscle testing for illnesses or issues or things like that is like so in depth and fascinating to me.
It is. Yeah. I had a really interesting experience when I was being muscle tested. And then I also now use muscle testing. I did it yesterday, by the way. I needed to change a flight. I'm doing something with a client where I have to fly to the client. And I was trying to decide if I wanted to facilitate a workshop for 6 hours and then try to get on a red eye to come home, or if I should spend the night and take the next morning flight out. And like my head really wanted something, but I wasn't sure. So I tested like imagining and put myself in the scenario of what that would feel like. And then the morning flight. And it was such a clear answer what my body wanted. So cool.
Yeah,
So I'm taking the morning flight out and I'm taking advantage of another hotel night.
nice.
But anyway, the muscle testing experience I had was she was actually testing for specific allergies or things. So one was wild. I didn't know she had all these vials because the energy of certain toxins, they have different frequencies, different energies. So I didn't even know what was in the vials, like just a friend, so I was trusting her. But there was one point where she put a vial near me, and immediately my stomach started to get sharp pains. And I said, wait, can you hold on a second? Like, hold on, I won't be able to do this with you. My stomach is hurting. And she was like, oh, okay. And then we both had this, like, at the same time realization that my stomach was hurting because of what was in the vial, and it was mold.
Mm,
And I have had a very sensitive, I knew that as a child, but like that was wild. That, and like, but my initial reaction was like, oh, wait, hold on. I can't, like, I'm having a stomach pain without then connecting and then quickly
connecting the
connected.
dots. Yeah, it's fascinating. I think the coolest part for me being such a like analytical as a coping mechanism person is this idea that like you don't have to use your brain to make decisions or you don't have to use your brain to have all of the information like that you can find the information in your body. And one thing I actually just saw like 2 days ago, which kind of reminded me about muscle testing, was these two girls. were testing what they should eat. They were trying it out. So they would put their arm out and they would like hold like junk food and like it was like very weak. And then they would hold different food and it was very strong. They're like, okay, I guess we're gonna eat this. Like, what's good for you and what your body is asking for, whatever. So I thought that was cool. I feel like it's becoming a little more mainstream depending on your feed, I'm sure. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, like food sensitivities, decision making. And I love what you said. It doesn't have to be in the brain because a lot of times the brain will play tricks on us and the ego will want certain things. So it's like, how do you tap into your subconscious, your higher self, your energetic body? Like data can come from other places, is the point.
Absolutely. And yeah, absolutely. Okay. So here's a fun one. Little I don't A little more, I guess in my mind, I'm like a little more just playful and silly, but like it was insightful. In Sedona, one of the things I really wanted to do was get aura photo taken. And there's a woman in Austin who has an aura photo tent and she goes to parties. But like all it really is like a little Polaroid and you get your cool colors around you. And that's cool. Like I love that. I
Mhm.
think that's super fun. But in Sedona, at this place, it was much more scientific, elaborate. There was like a little metal thing connected to the computer with the little electrodes that you like put your hand on and it took your energy, they took the photo and then it was like giving a whole report about like how aligned each chakra was, how big or small each one was and the colors. It was so cool.
And so you did it in Sedona, and I saw your aura photo, and I was like, oh, I want to do that. So when I went to Sedona, I went to the, actually, don't think I meant to go to the same place, but after I realized I ended up going to the same place
Love
because
it.
there were several.
Yo, there's a lot. Yeah, yeah.
But same thing, and I did it with two other girlfriends who, for sure, that was really weird for them, but they wanted to try it, and it was really fun. And my favorite favorite thing that happened was I was like, okay, I'll go first since it's like not weird to me. Like I've been dying to do this aura photo. And like we get in and like we do the thing. I put my hand on it, feel the things, and like I'm like zen. I'm trying to balance my chakras like as best I can, but I'm excited to get my aura photo. And then it pops up on the screen and I see all this red and she has these like little like you said, these little scales and stuff to see where your with your chakras. And she was like, "Whoa, look at your root chakra. It's so big." And I was like, "Hell yeah, it is." Like I was so proud of how big my root chakra was. And she's like, "That's actually not good." I'm like, "What do you mean? I was trying to win aura photo." It's like I was trying to
Yeah.
like and then I was like, "Oh, because it's about their balance.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
if
That's
one
so
chakra
funny.
is so big, then the others can't be the
Bigger is
tiny."
better, baby. That is so, yeah,
But
culture.
it was really, really good. And we had great conversations, and all three of us each ended up doing them. And like, it was wild how where every each lady's colors were and what that meant. It was right on par with what we were each going through in that moment. That was a really cool experience for them. For me to see them move from I'm going to do this weird thing that's playful, but then like, wait, like this actually means something. My energetic field is real. So that
Yeah.
was fun for me to see them do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I have looked up how to buy one of those machines and like there's like software and like whatever. And I'm like, I would love to have one of those because it's such a snapshot. It's just your snapshot in time. And I'm like, and I've seen videos too where they'll do it over time while people meditate and to see how much it changes, as they're doing like kind of like an MRI-ish, but like,
Yeah.
that. And I'm like, I want one. So I can just keep, where am I at? Am I good? Am I getting better? If I do this, does it change? Like, I would love to have more time to test with it versus just like the quick snapshot.
It would be so fun. And that's a good point that your emotional and energetic state changes. And you know this, right? Like you could come out of a meeting and be like really down or upset, and then an hour later hear your favorite song and you feel your emotions shift and your emotions carry vibration and like all of that. And so it's really cool to see the visual representation of like your vibe.
Yeah, so cool. Literally, your energetic field. That's all it is.
And it's like just how real it is. And then you said MRI. Okay, back to proximate experience. If you've ever had an X-ray or an MRI, then you should understand that aura photos are real. If we can capture that, right?
Okay, yes. And I literally just saw you something yesterday about, like crystals. Crystals are fake, like whatever. And then and again, I didn't fact check this. So I hope this isn't just completely not true, but I don't think it is. I think it's real. That the, what's it called whenever you have a baby and the ultrasound.
Okay, keep going.
That's a
Ultrasound.
real thing too, but that's not what I'm talking about. The ultrasound apparently is literally they put crystals that's what like makes the ultrasound machine work. Is that there's crystals inside that get energized. And I was like, thank you. Like crystals are used in so many things.
One of the things that really was fascinating for me about crystals was an episode of the telepathy tapes where nonverbal autistic children would hold different crystals to calm down because the frequency of the crystal helped them. And when they could convey that to their family members, like it just, that was really cool.
Crystals, yes.
And
Speaking of
makes sense.
crystals,
They come from the earth
they come from the earth and
and are formed under different types of pressure. No wonder. If our body keeps the score, the crystal keeps the frequency of the pressure. Wow. I just thought of that. That's real.
it is real. Okay, and speaking of crystals and like for example, like recharging your crystals under the moonlight, that is something I've heard I do from time to time. I think it's fun. I have a little crystal tray. I actually have some of the red dirt from Sedona as like the base layer.
Smart. I wish I had taken some.
I should have told you. I'm sorry. Bummer. We'll have to go back. It's fine.
Yeah, we'll just go back.
But yeah, the moonlight. How about moonlight? Recharging crystals, moon water.
Girl, that is one where when I heard people did that, I like rolled my eyes. I was like, that'll never be me. Like, oh my God. Spoiler alert. Guess who drank moon water yesterday?
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Okay, because of the documentary I watched around water.
Mm,
And what Dr. Emoto says, I think we talked about this already, like how water can carry memory too. And so we know that when the moon is at its fullest, the other thing again, proximate. We've talked like we understand that a full moon changes the tide and we're 70% water and like all these things. And so yeah, and this really beautiful container that I use is glass and it has a crystal in it. Yeah, like leave the water out overnight with the full moon and ask like to fill it with intentions and then to drink it the next
I love
day.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I need to get one of those crystal bottles. Like it's so cool. Like the bottom comes out and it like clamps the crystal and inside underneath that yeah, it's cool. Moon water. I tried it once, but I mean, I did drink it, but I just remember being like, I can't believe I'm drinking this.
I know. I said the same thing and actually it was so cute because my son, I asked him and my husband yesterday if they wanted some and they they they're allies, right? Like they don't fully believe, but they both wanted some.
I love it.
And like, and especially my son's so cute. He's like, Mom, I swear it tastes different. He thinks not as good, but he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I
yeah,
swear it tastes different.
yeah. Yeah. I know. All these things, it's like, this is just about intention and
Yes, I want to
practice.
also, yeah, if you're listening to this and you're like, whoa, that's weird. I know Katie Pritchett in her like corporate life and I can't believe she's actually drinking moon water. What a weirdo. Like, I want to also be clear, like, I like am very aware of like, and I can laugh with myself and be like, this is kind of silly, but you know what's not? It's not silly to set an intention and want to embody that intention. So if I'm doing it drinking water, or if I'm doing it drinking the body and blood of Christ, or if I'm doing it like meditating, do you know what I'm saying? Like it's really the
Absolutely.
intention. Yeah. And so I'm laughing at myself while I'm doing it, but I'm also really loving that I'm being intentional about setting these things for myself.
Absolutely. And it's like such a dance, right? I think there's this idea of if you're drinking moon water and have crystals that you're recharging under the moon, that like you're literally just like a weird hippie that doesn't wear shoes and only eats vegan food and like, doesn't do X, Y, or Z, like whatever it is, like whatever that story is. But it's like actually for me, it's a part of balance of like, I am high achieving, I have high aspirations, I want to grow, I want to be as enlightened and aligned with myself and confident and happy in life and doing all the things I want to do. And having this intention is really just feeding that desire to be like the best human I can be. And that is very like balanced, right? It's not, yeah, it's the antithesis of that story that I used to tell. I'm sure everybody has plenty of other stories about what doing some of these things might mean who you are, or might
Yeah.
mean what you do or don't do in other areas of your life.
Yeah.
But
That's
It
a good point.
doesn't. We're all individual. We're all just doing what we need to do, right?
What you need to do, whatever works for you if it doesn't hurt somebody. And while you were speaking, Katie, I the Maslow's hierarchy of needs like came into my third eye. And
Hmm.
I hadn't thought about it in a while. But the tip of the triangle for that is self-actualization, and the very base of that is survival mode, like food, water, shelter. And so what when you were talking, when I was hearing you talk, it was like, yeah, these are attempts at like living life through a lens of thriving instead of just basic survival.
Absolutely.
So like let's test it out. Let's see if that works for you or not. And it doesn't mean that you're, I don't know, I think the only thing we should say is that that means that someone's really trying to figure out what's their highest and best self. What's self-actualization like?
And
Like
what
that just came to me when you were talking.
Well, and what just popped into my head is, some of the old stories that I used to have of like, this is frivolous, this is a waste of time, this is maybe a waste of money, or maybe I'll look silly. And like, those were all just my own limitations that were coming from scarcity, right? We're coming from survival mode of thinking like, oh, I don't have time for that, or I don't have time to waste time on stuff that may or may not work, right? And it's like, no, that's a story. And maybe if that comes up when you think about this stuff, like look at that, where could you become more expansive, more open to creativity, be more willing to go on a treasure hunt or to the spiritual buffet.
Yeah, why if you have an energetic block for you too? Also, side note, footnote, see episode 10 on mirrors.
Yes, 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 yes. Okay, let's
Have
see
we've
what.
talked about breath work? Do we want to do breath work again or have we talked about breath work?
We talked a little bit about it, but I can't remember if we talked about the wild experiences that can come through
Mm.
breath work, but also just breath work as another tool like box breathing breath work or basic regulation of your nervous system through intentional breathing. It doesn't have to be extreme, but there is a wide spectrum.
Yeah, and I just finished a breathwork challenge where I fit it into my day in about 15 minutes, which was really nice because I'm used to going to like hour long or longer breathwork classes. And it was nice to remind myself and walk the walk what I do with like clients and people I work with of like taking 15 minutes. And I learned so much in that challenge. I learned box breathing has become pretty mainstream now, but I learned about different shapes of breaths. So circular breathing is when you go in and don't hold, like in, out, like as a circle. We learned about triangle breathing and inverted triangle breathing. So you only hold either at the top or the bottom. It was really, really cool to understand how like the shape of your breath, the pace, and how much you can control your nervous system by controlling your breath. Like really truly being able to shift from sympathetic to parasympathetic, from fight and flight, freeze to like rest and digest, like how much more control we have over it. So that was really fun. But then you mentioned like the wild things that have happened in those hour-long breathwork classes. Whew. Talk about the body keeps the score, right? Because once you're breathing, you're getting into rest and digest, you're letting your muscles, you're letting things relax, and then some of that energy just wants to come out and it comes out weird ways.
Yeah, well,
What happened for you?
that is the purpose of going through it. Like again, tie it back to things we really know and widely accept. We know when adrenaline kicks in or when you're running, like your breath goes up, right? Your breath does different things to help you in different situations. And in my mind, when I think about breath work, it's just the inverse of setting the tone of your experience with your breath versus your breath is reacting to your inner experience. You're changing your inner experience based on the breath that's happening. And yeah, I would say of all the practices out there, doing guided breath work, being able to be in the feminine and let someone else guide me, lead me, tell me what to do and let me just relax into it has been the most profound tool in my toolbox for processing unprocessed emotions or for releasing these big beliefs and stories that are limitations in my life.
Same. Breath work is the biggest. And as someone who really focused on intellectualizing her feelings, me, like I wanted to know why. Once I know why, then I can do something about it. Breathwork has allowed me to not even be able, like, not worry about judging it, but to just like be with it and then release it. Like, I don't have to even know exactly what it is, but I do know it needs to move through. So
Yeah.
that's been really cool. And sometimes, like, crying and shaking. I've had visions. You probably experienced, I think you felt like your hands like
Yeah, lobster
lobster claw.
claws. Yeah, so
Um,
weird.
and I've been in breathwork classes where some people like just wail cry, like
Yeah,
wailing, And then what's my work is to still stay in my body and still do my work while someone else is having their own experience. So the group breathwork was is really powerful for me for that. As a reminder that I'm still responsible for my own experience and container, despite what anyone else is having. But it is really cool when you're in a room and there's a lot like there's just a beautiful shared experience.
incredible shared experience. And yes, I've had several times where the experience is teaching me too, where I'm judging, like I'm bothered that you're screaming. That's not, and again, I've had many breathwork sessions where nobody's screaming and it's not distracting.
Yes, yes, I wouldn't say that's the norm. Yeah, yeah. The
No,
norm is like,
no.
yeah, that's not the norm. It has
But
happened though.
it does happen. And in those moments, I've had times where my reaction was judging or being annoyed, like you're bothering my experience. And then
Yeah,
I've
like
also had experiences where someone else's crying allowed me to really like let go and cry and gave me permission. So the experience can be very different throughout the journey. But one thing for me has been it took me probably a solid year of going to breathworks here and there sessions to get to a point where I really had let go enough and then released enough to where I could just relax and get lost in the experience, almost like detaching from your body completely, where like the world melts away and you're just floating, feeling your experience, like seeing things maybe, or like getting messages downloaded that are very clear. Like it's very fascinating, but it took me quite a long time. Like I had many hurdles of like I can only get this far in the like relaxation or like the before things are coming up that until I got to that place.
I'm glad you brought that up. Same thing for me. And which we talked about this as a buffet kind of dabble in. But I think what we're both saying is like if you really want to explore breath work, that's one that's truly a practice. And the more you do, the deeper you go, the more you'll get out of it. That's how I feel.
And we're so blessed to be in Austin with so many amazing facilitators and places, but the reality is you can go and you can get on a virtual breathwork guided session too. Like you
Absolutely.
don't, I can imagine that in smaller towns or just like, that what we have here doesn't exist everywhere, at
Hmm.
least at the same level. And anyway, there are people that do it online that are incredible. So you don't have to have an awesome Austin like breathwork facilitator and lots of classes. Because if you don't, like that sucks, but you can still find it online. And there's guided ones on your phone too that you can do on the
Yeah,
time.
Insight Timer has some, but even our favorite facilitator, one of our favorite facilitators here in Austin, JJ, will do some of his virtually as well. He's the best.
Absolutely.
Shout out, JJ.
Yeah, so awesome. Okay, awesome. I love it. All right. Well, a lot of what we've talked about so far has kind of been either self-driven or maybe one-on-one, but there's a couple really interesting ones that have been done in larger sessions, like group sessions.
Are you speaking about when I went to Family Constellation?
Yes, and I
Okay.
have not done it. So I would like you to tell us about your experience and a little bit about what it was like.
So I was really hoping I was going to go to a family constellation right before this recording, and it got pushed out to next week. So I was hoping to have more information having attended a second one and being able to share my experience at two different ones. So, but at this point in time of recording, I've only been to one, but it was really interesting because I first got invited by a cousin who I don't like get to see very often. And she was like, "Do you want to do this family constellation healing with me?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's like I thought you had to go with family." And the reason why I chose to go is because the date that it was a really significant date in my life and something that caused a date that caused a lot of pain. It was the day that I lost our daughter and through a very, very traumatic miscarriage. And so I felt like I had a lot to still work through on that date. And it was like, it felt divinely inspired, like that a family member asked me to go on this date. It turns out you don't need to go to family constellation with a family member or anybody. But it's a therapeutic method that explores like hidden family dynamics and systemic issues. So there's a facilitator and people are there, and we are trying to reveal underlying patterns like what are some of the things that we can address from like a healing perspective? So people will stand in whoever's there, no matter their relationship to you, as a representative for family members. Maybe they've never met, maybe they've passed on or whatever. And the concept is similar to like the body keeps the score, but like we have inherited trauma patterns. And so it's energetic field work. It's energetic. It's like therapy meets energy work, meets group work, meets like collective unconsciousness. And so, like one of the things that happened, and the one that I went to, which was really fascinating, was this man was really feeling like he wanted to know his grandfather who passed away. And he was feeling like there was something he needed to know from his grandfather. He just feels a lot of heaviness, and no one in his family would talk about how he passed, or just it was just a lot of like shadowy unresolved things. And in the healing he had people standing in for his grandfather, and like the idea is like the left side of you, it kind of represents your matriarchal side, and the right side is like your patriarchal, your father and your mother's side. And someone who was holding his right side, he had this download that like very, very clear that his grandfather had committed suicide, and that's why the family didn't really speak about him. And that unresolved grief, like everyone's just crying collectively, and he's releasing it. And once it felt like he understood that that's what happened with his grandfather, he felt like he could then connect with him and also connect with himself. So I'm not really doing this justice, I'm realizing, but it's basically about generational patterns and how do you release some of that. Okay, we told the story about the heart transplant, but do you know the story? Well, not story. Do you know the scientific study with the lab rats being shocked?
Yes.
Have you heard that one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, but tell us about it.
So I think this story will help to illuminate understanding of family constellation. So in a lab, they took a rat and they opened the cage, which I don't condone animal cruelty, but this they opened the cage door for this rat, and when she would go to leave the cage, they would shock her. She got pregnant, and they did that again. And then with her babies, they did the same thing when the babies were older. They opened the cage door to see what they would do. And those baby rats walked right up to the opening of the cage and stopped. There was no shock. But somehow, what was passed down in their DNA from the mother was the fear of going outside of the cage and the shock. So they inherited walking right up to the opening of the cage without having their lived experience in this lifetime, but it was passed down. A generational pattern was passed down. So family constellation is to hold a space for groups that we all have family patterns and trauma, and like how do we hold that space and collectively acknowledge it and heal.
Yeah.
So I'm not doing a great job, and I'm going to go to another one because I want to learn more, and I had a really profound experience in mine, but yeah, I'm curious. Like I'm curious to learn more. What
Yeah,
thoughts do you have?
absolutely. I know. I'm curious too. I mean, my only experience with it was, I think, is it Gwyneth Paltrow that does Goop?
Hmm.
She did that, like it was like 6 episodes on different interesting things, and she did one episode on this. So this was like several years ago that I watched, and she has an episode where they do this and they show how it works. So we'll have to add that link to that in the resources so people can go watch that and see it for themselves. But yeah, I the just in terms of like this concept of generational trauma, like 1,000%. I told the story about going to Sedona and doing the healing work, and the stories that came through from this
Yeah.
healer was about generational stories that weren't they weren't my lived experience, but the energy that was described was a match. Like I felt the energy but didn't know the origins of it, and part of that was the same concept. So again, I think this is a modality for working through some of these things that exist. And I've been doing a lot of thinking about bodies and health, how they look, how they operate, and I just keep coming back to, you don't see a lot of people that aren't just like a small smidgen of a difference from like what their family looks like, right? Like I look a lot like my mom, my body shape, my health stuff. We'd make jokes. I'm like, let me know your next health issue so I can add it to my list to watch out for
Oh,
in 20 years.
ugh.
And my husband, same, like that he looks just like his dad in general. Like, and you don't see that many people that really look really different from their biological parents. And but everyone yet looks so different, right? Like I look very different from you, looks very different from like anybody else. Line us all up, we look so different. But then when you put yourself next to people that have the same genes, you look a lot alike. And so, and you have a lot of the same health patterns. And to me, that's like, so this is biology. Like, this is just, it just is what it is. And we all know that that's true. And I'm like, I don't know why it would be any different about emotions, right? The emotions
Yes,
get passed down.
we widely accept that eye color and hair color can be passed down, but not trauma. Like what?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Or like it's a clean slate. Like, no.
No.
Yeah. So that's not always a fun thing to think about, but it is a true thing.
Okay, ceremonies are things done together. You did something I've never done, I think in Sedona, speaking of a portal ceremony. Was
Oh,
that with people?
yeah. It was like an Eventbrite, you bought a ticket and it was at like a really beautiful studio, like a yoga-ish studio, whatever. There is a lot of people there. It was the 1111 Lionsgate portal and it was facilitated by like 4 or 5 people and we all basically sat and meditated for like an hour, solid hour, but it was like a guided story meditation where we like went through all these different like they just self-guided through all these different portals. So anyway, it's what I would call that is like this concept of like the collective meditation practice or creating a collective vision at the same time visioning and having somebody kind of guide you towards releasing or just visualizing the portal of the future is really what it was. It was just setting an intention. It was fun. It was cool. And for me, it's like that experience of being with all these different people and having the shared experience is really, really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. Like the 1111, like when I see that on clocks or things or like angel numbers, that's always I feels like a universe, God source wink.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to drop re- the one that we recently heard about is this girl. We met this girl at lunch and she's just said like, I'm getting certified as a to do drum journeys. And we're like, cool. Is that like a sound bath?
Yeah, I know. I hadn't heard of drum journeys before.
I know. And I was like, cool. Sure. And she was like, I'm gonna need people to help me, get my reps in. I'd love to try it on you, whatever. And I'm like, great, yeah, let me know. And then it turned out to be a virtual thing, and that was confusing because I thought, well, it's a drum. Like I'm supposed to hear the
Hear the
drumming.
drum.
But it turns out that it's not a musical session at all. It's basically doing the same of tapping into the subconscious but stating an intention, asking for help or an intention of some sort, and then this person who has practiced is trained and through a drum message, through a drum sound,
It's such
taps into the subconscious to help release and guide and tell you visions, right? Like I'm
the
butchering
way I
this.
understood it was that it was like she's been trained in a shamanic drumming practice. And
There you go.
so the track that she listens to, the drumming is meant to bring you, almost like you had mentioned in that portal thing. It's like it's meant to bring you into like a portal of sorts where you can see visions or like channel things or whatever. And so she's been trained in allowing that drumming to bring her into a specific portal in place. So she will go and do that for you with your specific intention. But I had the same understanding. I was like, wait, am I not supposed to listen to the drum
I thought I was going on the journey, but no, you're going on the journey for me, and I
for
love that.
me? Yeah,
Yeah,
that
and
was cool.
I feel like a lot of this stuff brings up, again, visualizations and symbols. And I just feel like that is so, like, if talk about a differentiation between like logical, masculine, whatever, and like trusting, going with the flow, allowing symbolism and visions to like be a thing that you actually take meaning from.
Hmm.
I so yeah, that's the line. It's like there's so much on the side of creativity and the spiritual side where you have to be open to these kind of symbols and messages and trust and like you can't prove it, it's a trusting exercise.
It is. And back to like kind of going further into the vortex or experiencing things like I don't know that I could have trusted someone saying they saw a symbol that should have meaning for me. But now that I've been doing such deep dream analysis work, um, I now realize that my subconscious and higher self speaks to me in symbols. And so for someone else to go on this journey and speak like and share these symbols felt really cool and meaningful. So speaking of like I keep going about like the proximate experience, like, okay, now I'm like once I understand this and it's not weird anymore, then how could I use that for more understanding? But yeah, and that was really cool. And she the journey she shared with me and the symbols she shared with me, like 90% of them were very, very resonant. And I tried to relax while I knew she was doing the drum journey because we did it a little bit more live. And I had some really cool experiences where I like saw something purple and then she had a purple thing. And I felt something like all of a sudden this like kind of gravity and pain in my heel, and she had saw something about us like something with people doing with something with my feet. So that was a really very cool thing of us both trying to get on the same frequency.
Do it together. I love it. Okay, are there any others that you want to mention?
Okay, like we can maybe we'll go a little faster, but like one is self-hypnosis. So she went on that drum journey for us, but I have done I've done hypnotherapy with a licensed board certified hypnotherapist, and then she's also done some tracks for me to do self-hypnosis. So I really loved that because I've now learned that there is a difference between meditation and hypnosis. It's like reprogramming limiting beliefs. So that's been really powerful in my healing journey and reprogramming journey. And then I didn't want us to forget Ayurvedic massage because you got one first, as you would, my Sherpa. And then I went and got one. That was a cool experience of a different type of massage. Do you want to say
Yeah,
anything?
that was really cool. I think the coolest part for me, again, it very much was a massage, but it was just like faster, more energetic, more rhythmic. And then the coolest part for me was that this person who does this like makes her own oil, like with
Mhm.
herbs that are blessed, and like there's this process of like nurturing the oil. So it just felt very intentional again, and tying much more into the emotions. And then I don't know if this is common in Ayurvedic massage or not, but at the end or part of the journey was getting a big sound bowl like on my chest and like banging it. So it was like resonating, like, and this is like after I'm already blissed out. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. So
Girl,
that was cool.
thank God you did it first because, like, it would have scared the bejesus out of me. But, like, I was expecting it, and when it happened, it was very blissful. But, like, holy cow, I would have, because I do really zen out in massage, like, barely, like, kind of fall asleep, you know. So, yeah, it was.
The coolest part, and I'm sure you like, tell me if you also had this, but like, you're laying there with your eyes closed, and there she goes. She bangs it, and it's like vibrating all crazy. And like my eyes are closed, and I'm like literally seeing like the ripples of
Lit.
like the movement of the energy. It was wild.
Okay, we have not talked about this live. Yes.
Yeah.
And I love ripples, ripple effect, ripple everything. Like I'm a water sign, but like I literally could not only feel but see. I don't know if it's my third eye. Like it was wild. Like the actual resonance, the like, oh,
Very cool.
yeah. Okay, wait. Well, let's check our list because we don't want to forget anything. Saging, but saging's like a thing.
Yeah, saging, Palo Santo, clearing the energy. Burn and candle work is another one.
Hmm.
Using a candle, writing notes, setting an intention, letting it burn. Google it. The shake plate.
Yes, talk about nervous system regulation. I bought one. Guess how I learned about it? From the Ayurvedic massage lady. She showed me at the end of my massage that she had one because she was saying that I had some because the Ayurvedics try to like help drain some lymphatic because like toxins get stored in the lymphatic system. And so she was telling me she did a lot of great work for me to drain the lymph system, but she was explaining where some of my lymph systems were holding things. And so she showed me her little vibrating shake plate thing. And I was like, oh, wow. So I bought one that night and then told you and some other friends about it. But yeah, I love mine and it moves energy and it helps with nervous system regulation. And yeah.
I want to be very clear. The first time I came across it was at the Korean spa. I think they have known about this for a long, long time.
Well, you're right. But it was a really big piece of equipment at the Korean
Yes,
spa.
like
So
I
I
didn't
would
know
have,
you could just get one at your house, but
yes,
yes, that
yes,
was the
yes.
first time when we went to this big Korean spa and we're like on it like like giggling. It was
We almost got kicked out because everyone was laughing because we were going like kids, like,
so loud. It was so funny. Okay, but funny story, yes, and I feel like the shake play is going viral because yeah,
it
but
is.
And
Yeah.
it's going viral too for like weight loss stuff. I'm like, whatever. But the other day, I figured out that I hadn't tried like the highest settings. Like the kids like to get on it too, and they think it's hilarious. And I was like, I noticed there were higher settings, so I put it on not even the highest, but the middle one of the highest. And I was like, I'm just gonna do my 10 minutes. And I got to about 6 minutes, and my entire legs were itching so bad because they were shaking so much. Like it was causing like an itching sensation. And then I itched it so hard I caused bruises on my leg. Like literally right now, I
You've
have
not told
bruises.
me this story.
I literally it was 2 days ago. I noticed the bruises yesterday. So this is in
Okay,
real
so
time.
so don't shake too hard, people.
I mean, dangerous. So anyway, note to self, I don't need to do the highest setting.
No. Oh my God, that's wild. That's so funny. The one other one I wanted to just mention was equine therapy. I've done a couple of things, one at Miraval and then with a lady out in Dripping Springs in Austin who has this beautiful horse farm. And then actually I have a good friend, dear friend who owns horses. And I've mentioned them before, but like they're so intuitive and they can really be beautiful mirrors. And to allow animals to help you see more of yourself and go deeper and to understand back to muscle testing, Katie. I'm just now realizing when you're in alignment, when what your actions say, how you feel, and whatever, you're strong and the horse can sense that and then they trust you. But when what you feel and say and think and how you act toward the horse is out of alignment, you come across as weak. Your aura field probably is quite broken to them, so they distrust you. So it's just really fascinating. I wanted to bring that one in. That horse equine therapy is really special. You hear it a lot for like neurodivergent people, but like I've had some really powerful experiences.
Awesome. Horses are so wise, and yeah, they can read your energy 100%. Yeah, it's just like the way humans are too. When somebody's all out of alignment and their words and actions don't line up, like we feel it too. But I think we override that a lot of times. Whereas the horse is not going to override that. They're in their, animalistic alignment.
Yeah, the horse isn't going to be like, well, but their title is president, so now I have to override my feeling. It's like, no, that human is definitely out of alignment.
And not getting on my back.
Yeah, do not get on my back. Okay, wait. Do a quick scan of our lists. Community, we don't always have lists, but we ended that last session and we're like,
We
wait,
had
there's
so
more
many.
from the treasure hunt.
I guess the only thing that we didn't hit on was the being in community with people and being
Mm,
witnessed. So there's something really profound about another human being receptive and hearing you share your emotions or you have your emotions in front of someone else. There's definitely a connecting, just a totally different experience of like being alone in your room, talking to yourself or journaling to yourself versus like saying it or saying something, processing something with someone else. And so this concept of like getting together with friends to witness each other or to hold space for each other, and that might sound like, oh, we just hang out. Like, no, I'm talking about like really going deep,
intentional.
sharing emotions, being intentional, really doing that healing work and being witnessed in that and finding opportunities to do that will, for me, it has escalated the timelines of a lot of things.
Same, and I've sometimes easier with friends, but I've gone to workshops or things where there were strangers, and it is a little harder, but it's also really beautiful when you realize like, wow, this other human is having a similar pain than me, and like there's actually some real cool biology around like not believing you're alone. Something that happens in that with your chemicals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Okay, so we covered a lot. Our messages are there's always more to explore.
There's always more to explore, and it's a buffet. Choose what you want. Don't overindulge.
Don't shake a plate too hard.
Yeah, there's a tool for everything. You are not broken. There's an unlimited amount of things that can help you on your elevation to up your Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And yeah, try out, don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid, and your path is your path. Like, obviously, you could hear in our banter today that I've tried some things and then Katie did, or she tried some things and I did. So I think, like, hearing about things and trying it, but don't try to replicate someone else's path. Like really trust yourself, trust your body, what resonates with you. What are you trying to focus on? Is it the physical, the spiritual? Like what are you? And then allow yourself the invitation to hold the definition that it's not weird. I just haven't tried it yet.
That's right. And don't force yourself. If it feels too
Yeah.
weird, just give it time. Because I
Yeah.
promise, give it a month and you'll be like, doesn't feel as weird. I'll do it now.
True.
Yeah.
Well, share your higher downloads with us, share your experiences. We want to hear what's working for you. We're happy to try more things, so let us know.
That's good. Trust your downloads.
See you soon.
Bye. You just experienced another higher download. We are so grateful you joined us on this journey.
Yep, so if you're feeling that high vibe energy and want more, subscribe wherever you get your podcast so you never miss an episode.
And if this episode sparked something in you, we'd be over the moon if you'd share it with someone who might need this download too.
Yep, connect with us on Instagram at Higher Downloads, where we share more behind the scenes magic and some bonus content.
You can also find full episodes, transcripts, show notes, and resources at higherdownloads.com.
Until next time, trust your downloads and keep vibrating higher.